Welcome to Postcast. The Utah Jazz dropped the final game of the three-game road trip on a complete heartbreaker. They had fought back from down 10 and trailing all night long to only not garner the final rebound of the night. And a Kevin Huerter angle left three gave the Kings the advantage that would last. It's all coming up on Postcast. David Locke along with Ron Boone with you here after the Utah Jazz fall to the Sacramento Kings. Final score 126-125. And, well, Ron, first, this is heart-wrenching. The Jazz trailed all night. They stayed in contact. You kind of could feel it. It was a big game on both sides. The Kings had been really poor on this homestand. They were 2-3. They'd lost to Charlotte and Washington. They needed this badly. The Jazz needed it badly. They were 0-2 on the road trip. And you could feel it. Both teams needed it. Both teams played with that kind of energy and that juice all night long. The Jazz trailed by as many as 10. Finally broke through their first lead at 91-90. We had a raucous fourth quarter of action as the Jazz had 12 lead changes and 6 ties in the quarter alone. At one point, we had 10 possessions that were a lead change or tie consecutively. And then Mike Conley goes to the free throw line, up 1, makes just 1 of 2 free throws. The Jazz come down, defend it really well. I'd have a hard time remembering exactly what the play sequence was. I'll pull it up here in a second. But I believe
Fox drove to the basket, I think, a couple of times and came
missed twice, right?
Yes.
Fox came to the basket. He missed it with 19 seconds left on a 13-footer, but Sabonis got the offensive rebound. 6 seconds left. 6 seconds later, he missed an 8-footer on a floater, and the rebound looked to me like it came down into Markkanen's hands, gets knocked out of his hands as Barnes has it. They rotate it out to Huerter from Keegan Murray, the rookie, and he buries the three, and now the Jazz with 9.2 seconds left are down 1, and they tried to get it to Markkanen. He dribbles it off the leg of Harrison Barnes out of bounds the first time, then takes a 16-footer turnaround jumper and misses, and the Jazz fall 126-125. This has been a heart-wrenching road trip, if we're perfect. This team has really had great soul, great energy, great things this year. This is a tester of a road trip now.
Well, every team, I think, during the course of the year is going to go through a stretch, where they're struggle to win basketball games. Players are going to struggle. Beasley's going through it right now, that type of thing. But it's the close games that we think about, the ones that we talk about, and how they end up losing the basketball thing. Fundamental things like making free throws, fundamental things like rebounding the basketball that we talk about, that would have won the basketball game for you.
It did feel, and it'll be interesting to see whether, sometimes I've said this a lot, like I only have the Jazz perspective, right? I'm sure Sacramento maybe made the same amount of these types of plays tonight, but it felt as though there were a bunch of plays tonight where you just, like the Jazz would make inroads, get it to 4, and then just 2 kind of like, type plays. There was a sequence, I can't entirely recall it. I apologize, my game recall sucks. But I remember saying, like, wow, it was a really tough sequence, right? Like Mike missed a layup and they took it the other way. And then, just a bunch of little things like that it feels like in a game we lost by 1, there are going to be a lot of things to go back to tonight and wonder about.
Yeah, you lose a basketball game, and you fight in a basketball game, and you think that, okay, we got it rolling now. I mean, where the momentum is in our favor, and then all of a sudden you're down 1 or down 2 or 3 or something like that, and then you look up, you're down 10. I mean, it's just the way, I'm sure that's the way the Sacramento Kings were looking at it, as though the Jazz made a surge, okay, and we countered, and now we're back up 8 or 9 points. So that's the NBA. That is professional basketball. And the bottom line is, who scores the most points at the end of the fourth quarter.
That was a pretty great fourth quarter. That was as enjoyable and entertaining and high-paced and fun a basketball game as you're going to have. Lauri Markkanen was incredible with 36. Jordan was fabulous. Hit 8 of 12 tonight for 25. I mean, those two guys really carried this team back into this ball game and gave them a chance to win it.
Yeah, and Jordan Clarkson did not make a three-point shot tonight.
And Lauri Markkanen only made 1.
He only made 1.
The Jazz went 8 of 32 from 3 and stayed in the game.
Well, they had some pretty good looks, though. Jordan only took 2, but Markkanen was 1 for 7. Beasley, 1 for 7 there as well. And it's not like those were not the looks that they've been getting all season long, and they end up making them. They just didn't fall tonight. And when those shots don't fall, the Jazz get 40 a game. They're been average of 15 makes a game. And when you're missing, a few of those three-point shots, now you're going to struggle and who knows, win or lose.
I mean, the thing that's so crazy about this is really maybe the signature of this road trip is going to be how little help Lauri, Markkanen, and Jordan Clarkson got. Like they just didn't get help in Golden State. They didn't get help a great deal in Sacramento. Lowry's putting up monster numbers. Jordan in the month of December is as well. Over the last 5 games, Jordan shooting 44% from the floor, 44% from 3, and 23 points a game. You know, over the last 5, the next guy's Beasley at 13 points, but he's shooting 34% and 23% from 3. And then tonight, Malik just doesn't have it going either. He's 1 of 7 from 3, 4 of 13. I mean, he battled through it, and the guys fought all night, but they're really just not getting enough other offensive help for Lauri, Markkanen, and Jordan Clarkson.
And believe me, players know when they're struggling. I mean, and they start pressing. You know, they start aiming. Then I'm talking offensively until one goes in, like Beasley knocks one in, and it bounces around and goes in, and he's happy as hell. You know, because I made one, you know, that type of thing. But it's a struggle in this league to stay hot all season long, and you know, he's going through it right now.
Maybe one of the signature plays of the night to me in that regard was when Beasley went to jam it. It was like, okay, I can't 3. I missed a layup. I'm going to try to dunk it over a 7-footer. He got rejected and it didn't work, but it was kind of telling. Walker Kessler had a really good game tonight. He came in at 11 points, 8 rebounds. He changed the trajectory of this game a little bit in the way he played it tonight.
I think now teams are starting to prep for him. They realize the value that he has for this basketball team, how he protects the rim. They'll drop on him, obviously, because they know he's not going to take any long-range shots or not even any mid-range shots. He did not get a block shot tonight, which is unusual. So they didn't really challenge him because they did shoot some floaters, and Sabonis, with the experience that he has, put the shoulder and the body into Kessler, dislodged him, moves him back, and then he makes a layup. But it wasn't like he was challenging him at the rim or anything like that. So I think Kessler now is all a part of every team's scouting report.
The Jazz, by the way, shrunk the rotation to 9 guys tonight. Nickeil Alexander-Walker did not play in tonight's game, which was an interesting twist to the game the other night, where he actually played a decent amount down the stretch. So a little bit of a change there. Let's go back to the clutch final 5 minutes. It's what you remember the most. Sacramento run is the #1 clutch offense in the NBA, and they did it again tonight. They just scored time and time again. I don't have, from the 5-minute mark on, it was 111, 110, and Sacramento scores on 1 out of 2, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6, 5 out of 7, 6 out of 8, 6 out of 9, 6 out of 10. They missed 3 in a row there. 6 out of 11. Then finally Fox hits the shot. Make it 7 out of 12, and then they score in the last possession. So they score on 8 of their final 13 possessions. That's what they've been doing recently. That's how they've been winning games. What are you seeing out of this team that makes them such a good offensive team late in games?
When I'm seeing it late in the ball games, I haven't watched a lot of ball games of theirs late, but what I saw tonight was they were connected. And they got players that can get into the paint and make it happen. Fox for one, and then you have Sabonis, who he just makes his teammates better. I mean, he's constantly moving, setting picks. Guys are learning to run off of him. He screens away. He dribble hands off, and so for that part, you know, you're going to get something good out of something like when you have a player that plays like that, regardless of if it's in the closing seconds or it's at the beginning of the ball game.
What a night for Domantas Sabonis. 12 of 12 from the field, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. He did have 7 turnovers as he's playing with one hand. And it was obvious he was playing with one hand tonight. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was just thinking back during the ball game, David, back in the old days.
Someone would have just hit his hand.
Would have been taking shots at the hand. You know, he's got the ball in his hand. I mean, you're swiping at the basketball, but you're swiping at the hand there as well.
You guys weren't very nice.
No, we were not. No. That was you want to play hurt? Okay, then you.
He's proud of this. He's proud of this.
Well.
Hurting his fellow colleagues.
But he did play well with one hand,
if
you want to put it that way. He did not go to his right. If he did went to his right, it was only for one dribble or something like that, for a dribble handoff. But when he wanted to get to the basket, he went to his left, and he does that very, very well.
I believe that he scored 10 left-handed layups at the rim and 2 3-point shots. That's, I think, what he had tonight. Ron, who are your 2 stars? Domantas Sabonis cannot be one of them.
Well, I think it's Markkanen for one.
Yeah.
And then it's Kessler and Clarkson. I think, and I'm going to take Clarkson because at that fourth quarter, the number of clutch shots he made in that fourth quarter in the paint.
Well, I'm going to give it to Clarkson because I just noticed a number that I just did not pick up on during the broadcast tonight.
9 assists.
9 assists for Jordan Clarkson tonight.
Yeah.
So Jordan Clarkson and Lauri Markkanen are clearly our 2 stars tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Postcast. We'll be back with you tomorrow for New Year's Eve game against the Miami Heat. Tickets are available at Utah.